Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk to you today about the Rika Okada case and basically the evil Yuri Oishi. She is the woman that killed Rika Okada senselessly, and it was a blatant murder. Okay, but a little bit of background information on the two. Okay, Rika Okada and Yuri Oishi knew each other in junior high school, and they lost touch. Rika Okada became a nursing assistant in Osaka. When she was about 29 years old, that's when she reconnected with Yuri Oishi. Now, Yuri Oishi was a Brazilian of Japanese ancestry. She came to Japan because around that time, economic problems were severe in Brazil, and a lot of Brazilians had to go to Japan to find work. And Japan allowed people from Brazil specifically because Brazil has one of the highest percentages of people of Japanese ancestry outside of Japan. When Yuri Oishi became 18, she had to choose between being a Brazilian citizen and being a Japanese citizen because Japan did not allow dual citizenship past the age of 18. Well, she chose to be Brazilian, but when she went to back to Brazil, she wasn't successful and didn't find work, and so she had to come back to Japan, but things didn't work out much better for her in Japan either. And but eventually her visa was gonna expire, and it had expired, and she was basically in the country illegally. So she called Rika Okada, an old friend from middle school, and this was a sick situation. She knocked Rika Okada out and stabbed her about 50 times. When they found Rika Okada's body, there were at least 50 stab wounds, and most of them were not defensive wounds. Very little, if any, defensive wounds. So here we go. Okay, she knocks Rika Okada out, stabs her, then puts her in a box, and she calls the delivery service, claiming to be Rika Okada, and saying she needed this mannequin doll that's breakable. That's what she said was in the box. Delivered to a warehouse in Tokyo. Well, over time, Rika Okada's family gets concerned because she hasn't been keeping in touch with them. They haven't heard from her. And so a delivery man calls and says a lady claiming to be Rika Okada told me to come pick up this package and deliver it. Well, the police go into Rika Okada's apartment and they find spatters of blood here and there. So the government authorizes the police open up the package. They authorize it, and they find Rika Okada's body in that package. Okay. Well, at the time, Yuri Oishi had fled to Shanghai, and she was rooming at the time right when Rika Okada was murdered. She was rooming with a Chinese national who was studying in Japan, but her student visa was about to go away, and she was set to go back to Shanghai, China. Well, when Yuri Oishi killed Rika Okada, she took Rika Okada's passport, Japanese passport, all her Japanese citizenship papers, and assume Rika Okada's identity for her and this person to travel to and from between Japan and China. Now, here's the thing. The Japanese press were in China, and they photographed Yuri Oishi and this Chinese roommate. And this roommate, they were holding hands, and they looked pretty intimate. It hadn't been established, but it's assumed that these two ladies were lesbian lovers. They were a couple. And they were needing some quick cash, and then also for Yuri Oishi to assume Rika Okada's identity so she wouldn't be deported back to Brazil. So Yuri Oishi wouldn't be deported back to Brazil. Well, eventually Yuri Oishi gets repatriated to Japan. Now, this is only the second time this has happened, but it was such a brutal murder. The Chinese government allowed Japan to repatriate Yuri Oishi to stand trial. And on the flight from Shanghai back to Osaka, Yuri Oishi was arrested immediately at the Kansai airport, and she was brought to trial. Now, her lawyer and her pled not guilty on the grounds of insanity, but the courts did not grant her that the knife was purchased beforehand, She called claiming to be Rika Okada, said to deliver the box to this warehouse in Tokyo. This crime was planned. Also, the Yuri Oishi's roommate that went back to China before the murder happened, but she came back to Japan on a tourist visa, but just for less than a week when the murder took place. So the courts determined that this murder was premeditated. This crime was premeditated. She tried to assume Rika Okada's identity. She took Rika Okada's passport, her purse, her credit cards, all those things. And it looked like a premeditated crime. So she got a heavy sentence, like life imprisonment. So I hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.